sisters are here, ready, open, and as fabulous as possible. These are your sweets, Nikita
and Melanie.
And you're now listening to Girl,
What?
Every show begins with the drink of the day. So, Melanie, what is today's drink?
Today, we have a lot of ladies in the room, so we're going to drink something cute and sweet. Pink Moscato, mouth-watering flavors of juicy nectarine and raspberry. A delightful wine for everyday occasions. Our Pink Moscato showcases a refreshing sweetness with mouth-watering flavors of juicy nectarine and raspberry. Relax with friends and enjoy with summer salads, fresh fruit, or favorite desserts.
That sounds yummy. That sounds so yummy. But you know what? We kind of have a second drink.
Yeah, we do. Because we have a minor.
We have an underage.
Get in no trouble around here, man. I don't need no trouble. Girl, what? Don't have no lawsuits and we don't need none.
We have a 20-year-old in the building, and so we're going to have a supplemental, non-alcoholic beverage.
She's having sparkling white grape.
So classy and alcohol-free. It is delicious.
So when you turn 21, she have to come back and we'll give her some real stuff.
Exactly. Not that we really drink.
We don't really drink. This is really...
Yeah,
we don't.
But I will say, 20-year-old Makita, 21-plus-year-old Makita, I did used to throw them back. I did. But now, you know, we're fine and refined women, so we don't...
Yeah, well, I'll say, and I'm going to be honest, I was always the designated driver.
Yeah.
I didn't start drinking, actually, until... And even then, I wasn't really drinking. Probably about 25. So in college, I was always, they called me DD. I was always the designated driver.
Yes. That's just so funny. Okay, so before we get into all of, our subject, we do have guests. I know that we were on Facebook Live briefly and did a quick introduction. But I'm excited because, I'm excited and not so much because the subject matter it's not bad, but it's just
a little eye opener.
It's an eye opener.
Yeah.
So I'll allow our guests, plural, to introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Kamille. I'm 20 years old. I'm a professional dancer. And I am also the owner of a small but growing dance company called All Out Event Dance Productions. I choreograph for parties, for concerts. I do private lessons. I've worked with local artists from South Florida, and I love it. I'm very excited to be here and, share my thoughts as an artist, as a young Black girl. And I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome. And we do have Momager in the building. So we're going to let Mommy introduce herself.
She ended up supposed to take photos.
Hi there, everyone. I'm Kamille Walker. I'm Camille's mom. I've been a dance mom for 23 years. I thought I retired after high school, but she's back in the business, and I'm right there supporting her, and I'm very happy to be here at Girl What tonight with all these lovely, beautiful ladies.
Yeah, so sweet. And we have one more person. I know we love putting our guests and people that don't want to...
She was trying to be the audience today. She's going to come back on the show, though.
Okay, all right. We'll allow our... What are we calling it? Our invisible...
No, because she's going to introduce herself, but
okay,
she's going to be back on the show.
But we had guests, but not really, last week too. Mm-hmm. What do we call them?
Anonymous.
Our anonymous guests. So we do have one anonymous guest this evening, but that's okay. Before we get into the subject, I just wanted to highlight quickly some things that, some little news from this past week. Don't know if you guys realize this. OJ's free.
Oh, yeah.
After serving 9 years in a Nevada prison, he was granted release in July, and now he's out. He's actually planning on coming back to South Florida, so wonderful.
OJ is free.
OJ is free. It's been 11 days since Maria hit landfall in Puerto Rico, and currently residents are still without power. Less than 6% of the people's power have been restored. Most are still without power, food, and water. Banks are running out of cash. FEMA has now currently deployed about 10,000 folks on the ground to help. And the governor of Puerto Rico has been in working with the administration. But on another note, Trump lashed out.
The lovely 45.
Trump lashed out at San Juan mayor and claiming that there's poor leadership and the Dems are also contributing to putting out more fake news. In the meanwhile, Trump is making all of these accusations and tweeting from the golf resorts. But, I'll leave that to that. And I don't know if you guys...
But we are loving. Remember, we're working on loving our president. Remember this from the last episode?
I know. We had said that, but then he does these things.
But we still have to love him. Because we are godly. We're God's kids.
Okay. So I was just giving you guys some of the news.
She's not with the program.
You know what I'm not with? I'm not with someone that's taking their position seriously. And this man is coming to office and he is so focused on what he looks like than focusing on the job at hand. And he's supposed to be a leader of the free world, and he has to lead, not lash out and act very childlike and immature. It's not what our country needs, nor is it what we deserve. And we have Puerto Rico, that is a U.S. territory. We have the U.S. Virgin Islands, that is a U.S. territory, with brown and black people being ignored. Yeah. So this is almost, this is looking like Katrina. And our folks are being ignored and not being taken care of. And, and he's off to the races and off the reservation and doing his own thing. But I just wanted to...
Hopefully our auntie is working on getting him impeached.
Hopefully the powers that be work on what they're supposed to work on. But I just wanted to share. Those are some of the political news. But back to our current subject at hand. Our black girls.
I'm going to play the video.
Play the video.
For those of you who have not seen or heard about the video. I know you can't see it because we're audio, but I'm going to YouTube if you want to check it out. Miami Northwestern High School Golden Girls, and here we go. This is the talk. It's gone viral. It's been on the news.
Miami, we definitely show out. That is for sure. Definitely. So, what we wanted to do was partly give our opinions, but also kind of create a balance. And that's why we invited Kamille here, because she is from that world. Now, what I will say is let me
just pause for 1 second.
Okay.
Because we got to remember, a lot of our listeners are not from the South Florida area. So, Miami Northwestern Senior High School is one of those high schools that there's a lot of Northwestern bull pride in South Florida.
Yes.
If you all remember that song, Take It to the House, from back in the day by our friend Money Mark.
Yes.
And,
and Trick.
Was it Trick?
Yeah, I think so.
It was a really popular song. That song was done at Miami Northwestern Senior High School.
Was it? I didn't know that.
Yes, it was.
Okay. And also, just to add to that layer, is that I think Florida and maybe Texas, when it comes to like, I guess, that rivalry and like high schools is a big schools and their football programs, and I think that whole football community is big on all levels here in South Florida.
And a lot of professional athletes in the NFL. Yeah, they played at Miami Northwestern. They
played at Miami Northwestern or have been in that sphere of like optimist player, and then you go into high school and you become the star player, and of course they go to the top college programs, and that whole thing. So all of this kind of ties into,
and they have a big dance school, Payback is what they call it. It's like one of those high schools that's known. They have a big dance program. So the director, and we're not by any means trying to bash the director by any means. Let me just make that disclaimer, because she does, from what I understand, she does an excellent job at the school. She's a teacher in the Payback program, so this is not...
It's just a performing art.
It's a performing arts school program, so this is not to bash her. We want to stick to... We're talking about our black girls. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Okay.
So just my gut reaction was that I thought the outfits were too risque. I thought it was too much because when I immediately looked at it, I just immediately had the flashback of being from South Florida, knowing what our like social community is now, so easily influenced by the stripper culture, and that, like, unfortunately 30-year-olds, 20, 30, 40-year-olds, like, they like to go to the strip clubs for date nights now. And that whole, that whole culture is now just seeped into, like, the norms. And look, I'm not here to judge, because when I started working in the entertainment industry, I actually worked for Uncle Luke. So with all of that being said, who am I to judge? I'm not judging. What I'm saying is there aren't folks that are like me that can be and work in those spheres and separate the two. I don't see that a lot. I see that our culture has been heavily influenced, and the direction that most young folks nowadays seems so easily, they can just easily go to is just not... it just brought so many negative undertones for me. And that's all that I'm going to say about that.
And I'm going to let Kamille speak, and then I'm going to say what my take on was it.
Yeah.
I'll let you go first.
Okay, so being an artist...
Well, first off, when you saw the video, what was your thoughts?
My thoughts, honestly, I was very neutral with it. I saw... I did read the comments, and, I looked at comments and things like that, before fully watching the video. But seeing the video still, I saw, where, yes, this could be a negative thing, but I also saw, like, where the artistry comes from, The director, she's an artist. Being an artist, you have different intentions. You don't always look towards, whether people are going to like it or not. It's your vision. And, people see, like, oh, this isn't appropriate, but in her eyes, her vision wasn't like that. It wasn't meant to, put those girls out there in such, like, an open way. So in my way, I was kind of neutral on it. I wasn't, like, very, like, oh my gosh, like, what are they doing, but also watching it, I do see where, like, the image can, these are young girls, these are underage girls. I can see where, there kind of becomes that argument of, is this appropriate? Is this not appropriate? Should my child be in a program like that? Should they not? But yeah, being an artist, there are no rules. There are no rules when it comes to artistry. What you believe is what you believe and what you put out there. And people are going to have their opinions. And it's, whether or not you can handle taking that, those comments and, those concerns and videos going viral and, it blowing up. But also, seeing now this generation coming up, it is scary. because I've been a competitive dancer since I was like 8.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it's changed going to dance competitions from back when I was 8 till now, watching dance competitions, it is scary because there are, like, you know, sad to say, 5 and 6-year-olds out there who are wearing, like, you know, little briefs and little bras, but in the way, you know, the choreographer, the artist, whoever it is, they're not meaning to put it out there, like, you know, showing them out. It's out there to, you know, maybe that was their vision with the song. Maybe that's what they thought of, you know, for that piece. It's very controversial with that. So.
Okay. Y'all want to hear my spiel? Okay, so I get this text from one of my coworkers. Well, a coworker, but also a friend. And we do this from time to time. When we see something that catches our eye, we'll, like, send a message to each other on the side. Hey, what you think about this? So when I saw it, because I used to dance when I was younger. And I was like, they killed it. But what grade are they in? So my first reaction, like, I could see the choreography. I could see that they were as fierce as Beyonce. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, so who are they dancing for? And where is this? And how old are these girls? So I've watched the director's reality show, because she had a reality show. And I know her. I've listened to her story. And I've seen how she's taken, and I don't know if it was these particular girls, but I've seen how she's taken young ladies, young girls in, you know, an underprivileged community and giving them something to do and taking them from street dancers to established, like, very good dancers. Yeah. So I know the history behind it. At the same time, I know, you know, when you're doing a dance recital, outfits like that happen.
Yes.
For me, it was more of, I don't think she thought through the audience that they were going to be in. Just like when you're speaking, when you're a speaker, you have to consider your audience. Every audience is different. So for me, I just thought the setting, the environment was not appropriate for what was displayed. Yeah. Not that they had bad intentions, but the sickos that's sitting in the stands. Yeah. And I think as Black women and in a directorate position, regardless of what's regardless of, they can dance. We can see that. They are fierce to death. She's doing what her job is supposed to be. But it's our job as older Black women to protect our children. Mm-hmm. They might not see it. They might not understand it. For them, it's fun. Shoot, I'm fierce. I'm looking like Beyonce. Exactly. For them, they don't see past that. But we have to think the same way, like how my mom did for me. Certain decisions or certain things she would say to me didn't make sense to me as a 20-year-old or as a 17-year-old. Exactly. But it's our job to protect them from the crazy people, the men that are going to be, I hate to say it, looking at them online, lusting and going to sleep before they go to sleep, thinking about them, the disgusting ones. Exactly. And I just don't think that platform was the right platform for the performance and for the attire.
Well, you know, and to be fair, they never showed the performance. Exactly. They only highlighted what they were wearing and like the entry. Exactly. And that's what I'm talking about. Thing. It was just too sultry. It was just, again, it was because of the median. It was this was a football game. You know, I don't know.
A man's sport.
You know, it's all of that is fine, but it was just going too much to the left. Like the garter belts, whether it was full stockings or whether they were covered up, to me that didn't make a difference. Just what did it look like? Look what it looked like, and what was my initial gut reactions when I saw it, and that was just, it was too much on that line. Like now, I remember as a flagette, from my first year as a flagette, we did not have attractive outfits at all. And every year we kind of pushed the envelope, and our little outfits got tighter and shorter. But it was still classy, and it was still in the context of, being a part of the auxiliary. Now, I will say by the time I left, like, our outfits were just almost on par as the majorettes. It was very cute, little, and so I know that mindset is there to push the envelope, to make it a little bit more, fancy, or, have more zhuzh. But to me, that was just, I don't know. Right. Again, I just felt like it was too sexual. Right. It was too sexual. And we could talk about burlesque and, and the historical context with that. But back then that was borderline stripping.
Right. Well
strip tease.
This is Kamille's mom speaking now.
Now, as I said, I've been a dance mom for 23 years. I had 2 girls, and they both have been dancing since they were 3. And I've seen a lot throughout those 23 years. And I'm glad they kind of got out when they did, because as you said, it's becoming so risque, the costumes. And in regards to the video, of course, when I first saw it, I thought of the setting. I'm like, is this a competition? I saw the school buses and the things, and I'm like, yeah, those costumes are a little bit too much. And then I thought, of course, as she did, it's art. Yeah. It's what the dance teacher being creative, putting that out there. But then the age of the girls, their innocence there, that comes into play. So it's very hard these days being in the dance world for the kids and for the parents. Of course, the parents do have a say in that too. You can ask my girls. In regards to the costumes, what they will allow, they do have a say, because they have to buy these costumes.
Of course.
For the dance studio too. And allowing the girls too, at that age, yes, it's a show, it's a competition, a football game or whatever it is. But as you said, there are men out there. And a lot of men in the past, probably 6-7 years, a lot of men are now showing up at these competitions. Yeah. You have these dance dads that are coming in, and you have
incidents with that.
You have people that just scout out the areas where these competitions are being held. They have no one there, men, and they're just sitting in these audiences with cameras.
Wow. We've had incidents where our dance dads would have to chase out some men, chase them away to leave because they're doing inappropriate things.
And another factor is, of course, we're in our 40s here.
Yeah.
So the younger teachers that are coming aboard, they have this different mentality. Even in their choreography, the dances. Back when they were younger, ballet, that was the foundation. Now you go to these competitions, these recitals, ballet is hardly ever there. They have these real risky dances and things like that. So the younger generation of teachers too, they're competing against each other with the costumes and with the moves and all of that. And that the dance world is changing a lot.
I probably wouldn't even have an issue if those very same outfits were at an actual dance competition.
Yes,
but to take that into the high school football forum, I think maybe that to me that was my gut reaction. But to also add, the majority of the comments that I saw were positive. It was not a lot of. It wasn't really a lot of negative. Yeah. And it was people are hating and so da da da. But I'm just saying, in an education, in a school setting, whatever you're doing, beyond getting your education and the other, art and artistic programs, it still has to be a certain criteria. Yeah. And it's a time and a place for all of these types of outfits and performances, and I just didn't think that was appropriate.
And I want to kind of tag on what you said about the competition amongst the dance teachers, and I will go as far as to say I've noticed, and this is outside of the dance world. I've noticed a competition with mothers. And to me, when I read the comments, it just reiterated to me, in my opinion, it's like the parents are living vicariously through their daughters.
Of course.
So their comments were like, they were fierce. Oh, they were such and such. Oh, y'all just hating, da 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 da. And it's like, even on social media, you see it. Like, I see it. Parents promoting their daughters because they got a nice shape and, you know, they wearing all this stuff. And it's like, that's their Barbie doll. And I just don't know what that's doing for our kids.
When it's based on how they look.
Yes.
I want to see, I want to know that all of these girls have 3.0s and above.
Which I think they do.
They probably, I'm sure they do.
There's a requirement.
There's requirements.
There's a requirement.
And so, yes. But let's highlight that for a moment. I mean, I love that kids, and I love seeing their first day back to school photos. I love seeing their graduation photos, and I love seeing all of the other pictures and proms and things in between. But can we show some, can I see the brains and bronze photos? Like, show me your report card. Like, let's have those pictures along with. And then I will be quiet, like, because at this, you know, so, you know, I'll also speak from my own experience. I'm a first generation U.S. citizen. My parents are Jamaican. My mom did not have a formal education, and so my mom was very much one of those mothers that loves to put her daughters in the skin tight outfits and look how she gone and just it was, but I wasn't. You know, my younger sister loved it. I was the reserved one, but what can you do besides?
I used to.
And what can you do besides, you know, I got used to it. But then I remember being in middle school and seeing like the older men at the ice cream trucks or whatever, the little truck stops right outside of our school. I remember seeing those things. And I was in the little move something. Oh my God, am I dating myself? The move something outfits. But again, I remember all of those things. I mean, but thankfully I was not one of those people that liked that attention and sought that attention. But if I was someone that had less, you know, if I had any flexibility with like not being confident with myself, I mean, and I still wasn't all that confident, but I pretended. Either way it goes, I wasn't heavily influenced where I would allow that attention to like deviate me elsewhere. And now we're in a society where this how you look is like it's like it takes precedence over our academic strength.
Which was go ahead.
We're not rewarded for being smart anymore. We're being rewarded for bad behavior, how pretty we are, and you know, who can we snag. And so anyway,
I've grown up with like, you know, my hometown studio, like we all grew up like as a family, like sisters, brothers, and a lot of them I knew, like a lot of them were younger than me, so growing up now, some of them would stop dancing. And, you know, or they wouldn't pay as much attention to dancing or, like, to school. They'd want to go to the parties. They want to go to the football games. They want to hang out, like, with the boys and stuff. And so, like, now growing up and seeing these little kids who, you know, are so invested in dance and so invested in school and the honor roll and all that stuff. And now seeing them, like, on social media, and it's just about, you know, the likes and the pictures and, like, what can I, like, you know, how can I pose? How, like, what can I show? What can I wear to, you know, get the likes, get the guys to look at me? And I just look at it and I'm like, are these the same, like, girls that I've known, like, that I grew up with, that, like, I used to call, like, my little sister, you know, and I used to guide them, and I try and guide them still and be like, what are you doing? If I see those things, I'm like, do you understand, you know, you're a certain age, you can't do these things, you know, you don't know who's out there, but it's scary because it doesn't, like, register now. To them, it's just like, it doesn't matter, you know, I want the likes, I want the guy, like, they're cute, you know. They could be 15 and, you know, the guy could be 18, 19. I know so many people who have done that, like so many girls who have like gone through that. And it's scary because, you know, I'm looking out for them and I'm like, no, you need to just watch out. Like, I've grown up, like, my mom has always set me in that right track. She still does, like, as if I'm, like, 6 years old and still telling me.
But that's because you need that still.
And not the parents, they was tight. They was fierce.
That's my friend. That's my best friend.
That thing. The best friend, treating your child like that's your friend. No,
my
we
mom
not
still
friends.
tells me before I go on stage, what are you wearing?
I know, I still.
Oh my God. I mean, and on the flip side, my mom would be like, yes, Nikita, you look good. You look a good girl. Yeah, that's my faux patois. That's all I got for y'all. That's all I got.
No, but seriously, like, that was my other thought. And, like, the girls that were dancing, they are talented little girls.
Yeah, very.
But maybe there's one who has low self-esteem, or one who never gotten that attention before. Thank you, baby. And who's never gotten that attention before. And so that moment, and the way that I'm sure men were looking at them and, saying things to them. I'm sure. And there might be one of them that likes the attention and can draw attention from a 20-year-old man or older.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, even though you might look like a woman, you're not mentally ready to deal with that. And it just opens up another door. And again, I just think that as Black women, it's our job to protect them. It's our job to promote, and their parents, it's their job to promote their passion and help them, meet their goals and their desires and their gifts. But we have to be mindful and put self out of it and think about what may come to them after. Because not a video is viral.
Right.
It's viral. Who knows how they're taking this instant, being instantaneous famous.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
In the social media.
In the social media, yeah, exactly.
The sex slave.
Right.
And that was my next thought. It's like, we don't want to think about that, but it's real. This human trafficking thing is real.
It's scary hearing how they take these girls.
Yes.
It is scary.
And so that can of worms is already open. And it's like you're putting them out there
Right.
for this. And I just think, not to knock their director, because she's awesome. That girl can dance. She trains them girls, and she puts her heart and her soul into it. And I've seen her documentary and her show, and she really instills certain things in them that we can't capture in those 7 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's not to knock her, but
and nor, and as a disclaimer, nor are we saying that you are dressed this way, and so which will lead you into being. But then all of those.
Here
things,
comes the question, though. This was a school activity, so that means that I know when I was in school, and I don't think it's changed much. When I was a cheerleader, when we had dance teams, there were certain things that had to go through the proper chains of command. There was a dress code. There was, discipline. There were certain things have to be approved before it can come on the field.
Yeah.
And from what I understand from the news, when I heard the story, the principal supported it.
Yeah.
My understanding is that, they're not going to do this type of thing anymore, but the principal backed her. They backed the performance. The entry. So.
And one of the things is, as unfortunately the society that we live in, this is an art, this is creativity on the director's part. And, as she says, as Kamille says, she's looking at it as innocently, this is what I want to put forward. But of course, society, what it is, we view it differently. We're looking at the sexual part of it. Whereas in her mind, she probably wasn't even thinking about that when she, put that part out. And another thing is, in regards to teaching our young girls, wanting to dance, extracurricular activity, dancing gives them, because I've seen it in my girls and other girls, it does a lot for the mind, a lot of focus. Mm-hmm. They learn more, they're able to concentrate, being as a team, working together as a team, when they do that group dance. solos working disappointments. When they go to these competitions, they lose. They know how to handle that. This is what life is going to bring in the future. You're not going to always win gold, whatever it is. You're not always going to win best costume. You fall down, you have to get up and keep going. And that's something that I've seen, in my girls and other girls. Dancing, like any other extra sport out there, it teaches, our kids a lot.
And it gives them something to look forward to.
Right. And my girls, I put them in there so they wouldn't have time for anything.
For real.
Movies or,
seriously.
I have homework and I have dance. And at times they would, be like, Mom, I don't have a social life. I can't go here with my friends. I can't go there. I was like, okay, that's fine. You have after school to do, all that stuff. And they both decided to pursue it even after college. But again, unfortunately, our society has changed so much, and
which lends itself to a question that one of our anonymous audience members had, and I kind of had the question too, because Makita and I were talking about where we kind of wanted the show to go today, and one of the things that came up was, we know this, and we're 40, so please correct us. That's why we got you here, okay? We know this. It seems like the days of boy chasing a girl or wanting to date a girl, those days are like, it seems like they're long gone. Now it's all about besties. And that's my bestie. The guy is my bestie. But what a girlfriend, boyfriend. Like, what a boys seem like, even in elementary school, I could see, I'm a teacher. So even my 4th and 5th grade little girls, I see them running towards the little boys and the boys running away from the little girls. So I'm trying to figure out, like, it just seems, and even research has shown, because we did some research on we looked up some articles in the New York Times and stuff like that. Seems like nowadays the girls are perceived to be way more mature than the boys.
But I think that's always been the case. But I think the culture and
the
nature,
less innocent.
Well, that I don't think any of that has. I think it was just like that when we were growing up.
Was innocent.
But I get what you're saying. I think it's the part where when you're now getting into high school and the dating life and that whole, guys courting the women. That type of culture.
And then the girls are more like, look at the dance. Like, we ain't dressed like that.
Not dressed like that.
I kind of
dressed like that. It wasn't on, it wasn't.
Yeah, I guess. Or maybe it's not the dress. Yeah. It's like, to me, it seems like they're a little bit more forward than we were.
Yeah. Well,
more aggressive.
With that, with this generation coming up, what I've noticed is they all want to be older than the actual age they are. Like, if they're 15, 16, they're like 20 already. And that's where it comes into, the whole guys thing. They don't, like, relationships. When I was in high school, like, my boyfriend, it was, like, old-fashioned. I liked it, like, trying to talk to me, trying to get my number. I actually got his number. So it was kind of roles reversed in that. But now, seeing that, like, I see, younger girls wanting to, like, go to the club to meet older guys. But, there's no, like, relationship now. They more look for, like, one-night stands or things like that, or someone to talk to, or have, like, multiple guys, and
at a young age?
Yeah, at a very young age. It is scary. Like, high schoolers doing that. And you don't see many, relationships. And, yeah, they're calling, like, the guys that are younger, their age, like, oh, yeah, you're my bestie, you're my friend, because they see them as being, immature. And they're like, oh, I want that older guy. He's more mature,
It's funny. I mean, I am still dating, and I feel like it's across the board where, I have a couple of people that seem like they may be remotely interested in me, but I'm finding that if I don't make the initial calls, or if I don't text, or if I don't reach out, they're not doing it. And it's kind of like, if I'm 40 plus, they still playing games? I'm tired!
We got time for that.
But so much.
Uh-oh, 60 plus. They playing games at 60 plus. We're in trouble.
It's but so much games and this one guy that I dated a few years back, I think my friends called him the president. They called him Barack Obama because surely he acted like he was the president, how busy his schedule was, how he could never, call back or pick up the phone. He was so busy. I'm like, are you as busy as the president of the United States? And guess what? President Barack Obama appeared to have his relationship very balanced.
Yes, he did. And he chased his woman.
And I believe he chased his woman. And so it's just kind of like, gosh, I mean, maybe I won't make it about me, but.
Okay, so, but why? Why is that? Like, why? And you all say, maybe I'm just oblivious. You all say this has existed from way, way back, from from I don't know when, but I liked boys my age. I really didn't like. I was scared to deal with anybody older than me. So, but I'm seeing now that seems to be the case.
I was definitely fearful of dating someone too older and dating someone my age. Oh my gosh, look at the time.
We got 3 minutes.
We have 3 minutes left.
Well, about
4 minutes left.
But why is that? Do you think society is making, or parents are making our black girls grow up faster? Is it social media? Is it?
I personally think it's social media and like the influence of all of that. Seeing the pictures. At least I've seen pictures of men who have jobs and they have money, or they can travel and take a girl anywhere they want. They're like, oh, I want that now. But it's like, girl, you're 17. What are you doing? You have your whole life to live to get there. And I don't know why they're jumping the gun. They want to do it, because older men haven't figured out. Most of them. I don't know. I'm still young.
Child.
So, I don't know.
I think that a lot of these behaviors have been there.
Child.
And now with the onset of social media, where it's a mini looking glass and everyone's pretend day to day, and folks fake the funk. But now it's to the point where people are believing what they are seeing and putting out there.
It ain't easy dealing with a 45-year-old man, baby.
It's just gotten worse and worse and worse. And those, those folks that were aggressive back in the day are more aggressive now. And now we have social media to kind of pretend that we're not, or just do it in a way where, I don't know. It's a combination of things. It's a combination of things. And, being that I have male siblings, I have both, and I saw how my mom treated my brother, and I see how women that have sons treat their sons like they're on top of the world, and they're so cherished. And I think that breeds how they are feeling like they need to be chased. Mm-hmm. Because those little cute, adorable boys become grown, handsome men, or okay men, or have decent jobs men, and so their egos. It's a total mix of all of those different things. I would love for someone to actually, a psychologist or someone that's that studied this to give lend their thoughts. But
1 minute. So Kamille, I need you to pump yourself up. Okay. Tell them where they can find you, your dance company, and all that.
Yes, you can find me on Facebook at All Out Event Dance Productions. Please go like videos. I have pictures. I am actually this week working on setting up a YouTube page also for All Out, so I post all my events that I do, little recap videos. You can also email me at allouteventdance@gmail.com. Just check me out on Facebook. I'm all over there. I can also share videos to you if you email me. I do bat mitzvahs, quinces, concerts, school events, charity events, whatever you need. We could talk about it, and I'll set it up for you. I love it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Girl What.
Girl What. And that's it.
And we're done.
Oh, can't forget this verse. Colossians 1:16. All things have been created through him and for Him.
You were listening to Girl
What?